How's it going, YouTubers? Kyle, Epic here with a tutorial for you all by popular demand on the backflip. Do keep in mind, I am not a gymnast, I am not a cheerleader. I do not focus on form, fixed positions, or structure. I will tell you that form, fixed positions, and structure will sometimes work, but everybody is different. Everybody must find their own way to be able to do certain things. Some basic progressions work for some, whereas different basic progressions work for others. Keep that in mind. And do know that I'm not saying that this is the best way or the only way to learn how to do this move. So first off, let me just demonstrate the backflip first. That's what it looks like. One obvious movement that will help you get your backflip is the back handspring. If you don't have that down, feel free to learn it because it can help anything that involves allowing you to travel over backwards. Can help. It gets you used to actually being upside down, following through. There's progressions you can do on the trampoline. Find your own way to progress it. What I'm going to do is just break the movement down itself, but how you learn to progress is totally up to you. Be creative, be open to new things, learn from gymnastics, learn from cheerleaders, learn from tumblers, learn from acrobats, learn from free runners, learn from ninjas, learn from martial artists. The more input you can get to learn how to do this movement, the better you are. So one of the first things that's really important in the backflip is just having a good set. There's three main parts of the backflip. There's the set, which is the takeoff. There's the variation, which is the actual flip rotation itself. And then there's the landing, which is probably one of the most important part and the one thing that everybody usually gets lazy about because everybody kind of throws themselves in the air and expects themselves to land on their feet. It's the worst mistake you can do in doing it. So with the set, all you want to think about doing is getting a nice, hard, upwards snap. And what I mean by snap is getting this motion down. Now, as far as throwing your head back or keeping your head looking this way, it works differently for some people. Now, obviously you don't want to throw your head back before you take your feet off the ground. You want to be able to spot something up high, that way it gets your chest opening up. And your arms don't go to the side, you want your arms to go here, over your head, past your ears. And when you set, don't start here. When you start with your chest low, you have to muscle it and you may as well gain it. What you want to do is keep your chest more upright and just focus on your legs. By bending your chest forward and whipping it, it takes away the power from your legs and makes you flip lower. So keep your chest upright, hands here if you want to start that way or here, doesn't matter. What you want to focus on is keeping your heels off the ground, dropping your weight by bending your knees with your hands behind, and as you set, bring your arms up and open your chest here. You want to get that snap, so when you tuck, you get that pull. Open your chest to the ceiling, let your hips open up. Now don't arch too far. All you're focusing on is just getting your body up. You got to start your chest leading up, so when your legs follow through, because your chest gets you up, you're already high enough, so when you pull your legs over, you have plenty of time to control that landing. Once you're in the air, once you feel your feet leave the ground, or just before your feet leave the ground, you want to kind of not think about bringing your hands to your knees because that's like trying to do a backflip and starting into a front flip halfway through. You're just going to stall yourself and fall. When you go here, think about keeping your hands there and pulling your knees up to your chest, and in doing so, you will cause that rotation where your chest stays here and your hips down low will pull over and go into a ball. And keep in mind, the tighter you tuck, the faster you're going to rotate. If you're open, you won't rotate as fast. When you're pulling your legs up, think about keeping your knees and your feet together. That will help with the kind of whipping motion of the actual rotation, and it'll keep it tighter, whereas when your legs are spread out, you lose a lot of momentum. So when you're popping up, try and keep your knees and your feet together, so when you pull up into that snapping part of the rotation, it'll happen a lot easier, a lot faster, and hopefully give you a little bit more control. And by keeping your hands here, as you pull your knees up, your knees will meet your hands, thus allowing you to grab and pull. So you got the snap and pull. That's the point where you want to start looking for that ground. So while you're holding onto that tuck, you spot that ground and try to control that landing. Sometimes you may land on your knees, and it happens. Everybody kind of is a little clumsy. The first ones are always usually going to be a doozy, and you may not land it the first day, the first week, maybe not even the first month. It will take time, so keep drilling your basics and work your way up to it. As for the landing, like I said, When you're coming out of that rotation, that's when you start spotting for that ground and opening up. Feet first. Don't open up your body flat and then just come down onto your knees. Pull your feet underneath you and bring your hands in front of you so you can protect your face, that way you don't land on it. And try to land not hard, try to land nice and cushioned. You want to learn to control it. Now, it's not going to happen first off, but as you progress and gain more control, it'll be easier. Then you can start landing onto one foot and popping out into flash kicks, and that's where the good stuff kind of happens as you progress to be a pro. One thing that's super important, obviously for safety reasons, is to not do this too early on in your training. Make sure that you know your limits. Be aware of your limits. If you don't think you're ready, if you're there and you're ready for it and you're kind of psyching yourself out and you're not sure if you can do it, that fear will cause you to stiffen up and will probably lead to you landing on your head. You want it to feel natural and you want it to feel comfortable. What I do for certain movements is I walk myself through the motion and the takeoff. I get used to that motion and I kind of go here to there. Walk yourself through it, and that might help you feel more comfortable. If you have access to a pit or mats, or if you have trainers nearby that can help you get used to certain motions, like some people use a block and jumping up onto the block and pulling your knees up. There's different progression ways. So like I said before, the more input you can get from outside sources, the better knowledge you'll have over learning how to do this movement. With not much more to do, that's basically the tutorial for the backflip. Hope I helped you guys out a lot. Again, I'm not a cheerleader, I'm not a gymnast, I don't focus on form and fixed positions. All I know is how I do it and how I've seen people do it, how I've seen people teach it, and whatever works really. Thanks a lot, take great care, stay positive.